I had a quote that I just saw on win.gg from Larssen, who gave an interview about playing Excel, where he said, Larssen said, it's the biggest game of the split because it's again Odoamne, so I definitely want to win more against him than any other team. The expectations are hopefully we'll stomp them and hopefully Odoamne will feed because that would be funny. Maybe I will try to camp him. It's kind of a double punch with that SOT. I don't feel like they're connected, but it's a good quote and it sets us up perfectly for this match.
It's funny. It's like, Odo's like, I don't have anything against the org, and then Larssen's like, haha, I want Odo to lose. That would be funny.
Thanks to Lee Jones, by the way, for the interview on win.gg. But I wanted to take this as a jump-off point to talk about the top lane matchup in detail a bit further on, but maybe starting off with the top lane meta and the top lane mechanics that we've seen so far in the LEC.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is like Xerxe and Cassante have just been sort of taking over, I think, in terms of what LEC players are going for. And to me in particular, like, I heard a lot about like how strong Xerxe is going to be coming in. But what I've seen from our LEC top laners is Cassante is like winning that matchup at times, like finding solo kills. And to me, when I think about this Cassante pick, it fits into a similar role that we've seen from like Renekton in previous years, where like he has the ability to like be very powerful in lane, but then also contribute strong ways in a team fight. Like, it feels like he's almost like jack of all trades, and everyone's trying to find like niche ways to counter it.
Yeah, Renekton wishes he could drag them through a wall.
Yeah, exactly. He's like way better than Renekton.
But I think that's a great segue as well, because we still see Renekton come through as well, and specifically for Szygenda too. And it's a champion that can still find its footing. It's great because Sejuani is also meta, so it allows you to play these composition that wants to hard camp on the top side instead and play through the top side as well. Of course, playing into Xerxe is still not as good as you would like it to. That Counter-Strike Xerxe is just the S tier right now. And we have also seen Fiora, more Fiora than I expected out of our EU top laners. But the more I see it, the more I start having the idea that it's not necessarily just the players that can't play the Fiora, because we've seen it work. We've seen them get the solo kills. But it's an entire team dynamic in terms of, well, how do we actually play around it? And not just from the lane, but how do we win the game with the Fiora?
Oh,
100%. I mean, no, that's a fantastic point, because it's like, a lot of times, yeah, you'll see them do well in lane, but like, are they destroying a side lane so hard that it's creating enough pressure that their team is able to capitalize off it? No, we haven't really seen that yet. Are they finding ways to team fight? That's always been a struggle for EU teams to sort of get that type of split push top laner incorporated well into a team fight, and that's also not quite there.
It's a historical stigma, I think, of Fioras that aren't LCK or LPL, specifically for LCS and LEC top laners, it feels like, right? But it's really interesting, and I'd love to follow up on the dynamic if it's really right. It's not played out correctly by the team in that composition. Moving on, though, a little bit more in detail about this specific matchup. Obviously, Odoamne on the side of Excel versus Szygenda now on the side of Koi Goldberg, who I think both had a great game yesterday. Even though Odoamne wasn't able to win, he still impressed us. And Szygenda, flawless entry into the Koi team.
Yeah, I think you start on Szygenda. He just, you know, he's facilitated by his team. He's a guy that obviously has been brought in a lot of trust. And we heard it on the analyst desk as well. The guy is just getting resources. Even if he doesn't want them, Malrang will just show up random in his lane and be ready to facilitate him. I think it's great to see that a new player like Szygenda, who didn't have the best start, can come back into LEC as well, this time around with Koi as well, and come up with a performance where we didn't see flashy things in terms of individual plays, but the way he destroyed Adam with lane management was perfect.
Look what he's doing here. Like, the lane is just completely locked. Adam trying to make excursions down into the river because it's very hard to farm. And I think when Szygenda was crashing the wave, you can see it's two waves sort of stacked up, a lot of ranged minions that he can get a fast push in and then go move on the map, right? Anytime he was pushing, it was for an idea. Here it was to walk down and sort of fight over the Scuttle Crab. Later in the game, we saw him building up 3 waves to try and attempt to look for a turret dive. That dive didn't come in, but all of these ideas led him to going up to, I think it was 50 CS at some point, just absolutely destroying the top lane.
Yeah, it's great to see the tag team, the fact that, oh, Malrang was behind, I need to help him out a little bit, so he uses the pressure for the team too. A guy that probably wish he had a bit more team pressure in his first game was probably Odoamne as well when he was playing that matchup. I felt like he played amazing. He had a
solo kill and almost
game,
a second one.
And solo kill as well, and with multiple people being up in his top lane. I remember when they were just vultures around him, 3 people versus 1, and he still manages to find solo kills. This maneuver where top laners gets pushed on the turret from a Cassante, I've seen a little too many times, and I'm hoping it's something that's going to phase out. But Odoamne, I think in terms of Larssen, want him to feed. I think he's going to fish for it a little bit. He's definitely going to have to camp it, because I don't think he's just going to get solo killed by himself.
Look, I'm just thinking back to 2022. Odo's just got Broken Blade's number. I'm sorry. The carry top lane can't shut down Odoamne. Here, this is cheating. Obviously, we agreed that bringing a jungler to the top lane is just unfair and unsportsmanlike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that 1v1, he was absolutely smashing. I think there was just like a quick heal that BB actually got, because Odo had the damage in his combo without that slight heal to make it happen.
And I will say, this is probably what Odo has to get used to, because he has been the self-sufficient top laner, but Szygenda in this matchup is going to be the guy that's going to have Malrang up there.
Yeah,
so
but
yesterday
Odo
was like
that.
training grounds.
Odo knows that, right? He should know
exactly.
everything about it, even though I feel like for Malrang, there's always like an edge of like, no, he might do something that you didn't expect. On the other hand, though, are we being a bit disingenuous to the history of Odoamne by saying that he's only ever played weak side? I know we had this discussion before, but there's something in me that tells me, and we've seen it, that he can do the other side of the coin as well.
The thing is, that's why I use the word self-sufficient, because even when he is playing on, that's not going to stop him from solo killing the enemy team. The weak side, in essence, is really difficult because, yes, he doesn't get as many resources as other top laners, but he does the most with the little resources he gets.
And I think that history makes the whole Koi situation so interesting because, like, the biggest question we had for them was, stylistically, how does this change, right? We know Szygenda is a strong top laner. That wasn't a question. We've been tracking him through the ARLs, but as a guy that likes playing more of the carry tops, demands more resources, like, how does that play out? Koi camp top lane, and it works, right? Like, they're already trying to bring him into the roster. I think we've seen this from a few teams, bringing in rookie players, doing everything they can to support him.
I mean, and Koi's lane also were fantastic yesterday for Excel. They're going to have their work cut out for them, but how sweet would it be if Odo wins that grudge matchup? I don't know. Let's head over to Caedrel and Drakos.
It'd be pretty sweet, I would say. It's always weird because normally it's like teammates, former teammates, you know, it's like friendly, but also you really want to win. But obviously Odo also has a bit of some personal grievances that maybe he would love to resolve against the organization, even if it's not against the 5 players on stage today. So we'll see how that affects his performance. And I think the analyst has highlighted it. Some great moments from Koi yesterday. Bit more of a struggle on the Excel side. Felt like lanes were collapsing very early on.
Bot jungle really struggled in that game. I think the solo lanes were all right, and I think they will be again, but they need to make sure they have a bot jungle they can work around and play around. It feels like pushing bot is just so important right now.
Certainly is. And we saw 2 very different shades in terms of how to deal with the Heimer matchup. We can talk about that more as we get into game, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that champion banned away now in this game. And maybe we see more favoritism towards engaged supports. That's what I'd prefer. But I imagine based on how successful these teams were or how much priority there was from both of these teams on picking ranged options, these pushing powerhouse laners in terms of support and AD carry, that we'll see more of the same today.
Definitely will. And I feel like, you know, if Heimer's banned and there's no Caitlyn Karma lane, it's basically like a Yuumi or a Lulu. So I guess you, in a way, can play a melee support if you play around it and look to try to punish it. Then it's definitely an avenue that EU teams are happy to take. We saw Rakan even come out from Fnatic.
True.
So any kind of, I feel like the EU teams really love team fights and they love any kind of form of let's start an objective and just look to turn.
Certainly is the case. Of course, taking your time here, getting ready. The players, gotta think of their super sweet intros to do. We don't need any more time. Let's get into it. Time to meet the teams. Shout out to the one dude who basically just death metal screamed Trymbi's name. That was sweet.
I love how Szygenda
Everybody did great, but that person gets a special shout out.
You see all of them were facing forwards and Szygenda was just standing looking at the wall behind him.
He wanted to see his photo, dude. That's respectable.
That was great. That was great. Okay, so we're about ready to get into draft. Players are ready. I can see Odoamne wrote to Malrang. Do you know what he wrote in chat to Malrang? Odoamne?
What'd he say?
He said, "Come gank top, you little rat, level 2." And then the draft started.
Oh, wow.
Odo
okay.
just firing out
Maybe
shots
it's
to
more
Malrang.
personal than we thought.
Jesus, that was brutal.
Okay. Vamos Koi. Oh, I was
a
so
go.
lost. Got it, go Koi.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Abe
yeah,
Espanol.
Vamos go. Yeah.
Let's go. Caitlyn banned away. Seen
Orn
that one
banned.
consistently. Orn
Wow,
banned.
Koi knows
Is
something.
That BM?
They know something
They
about
have
Odoamne.
Full faith in their brand shiny new top laner to take him down in the carry v carry matchup. So Sejuani also limited from Malrang. No more cheeky level 2 ganks from the Pig Rider.
I mean, he'll do it on anything. He can play Soraka jungle and you'll get silence level 2 in mid lane out of nowhere, just flashing out of a bush. I can see it already. Get rooted, first blood, runs away and gets the kill, thumbs up. I know it will happen. But bot lane, a lot of champs still open. Varus, Heimerdinger, Yuumi, Lulu, Zeri.
I don't want to see Jhin again.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm done.
I'm
I
done
think
with the Jhin.
Day 1 was enough. That's our sample size, however many games were played there, and I don't need any more. So Jack's gonna get banned, though. I do like that one. Jax has looked really strong.
Yeah, it has. Even though it's sometimes struggled in the lane phase against champs like Cassante, just looks so powerful. So many bot laners are up. Lucian, Nami, the Yuumi's up. I feel like that's where the teams will focus. Vi, Maokai, Wukong, the junglers are up. Heimerdinger too. Does XL want to play Heimerdinger? They struggled a lot against G2's Heimerdinger. Is it something that they want to opt in for? It's such a plethora of options, and I think there's so many OPs that it's just a debate.
Oh.
It's like they think Lucian is the strongest.
Okay, opting for the Lucian, Nami, and Koi.
Wow, Kalista.
You have to assume they're going to pair it with something aggressive, but opting to go now for the Maokai, definitely a champion who can level 2 gank, a champion who's been just about perma-banned this entire season thus far, finally going to go into the hands of Malrang.
Wouldn't be surprised to see something like Wukong Nami here, Vi Nami, any kind of meta jungler that they want to play around. It feels like a lot of the solo lanes that you early rotate are gone in the sense of Jax, Ryze, and Syndra, unless you want to go for something like Gnar or Cassante. But Nami will be no surprise, just locking in a little bit later on to give you more time to think, because on 3, they're probably going to pick a melee support, you have to imagine. Something like a Mumu or... I don't know, it's Trymbi. I feel like Trymbi always has something up his sleeve that he's ready for. And if he went into the draft meeting and said, are we giving them Lucian Nami? And the coach said yes. And he says, what are we playing? Kalista. He's like, okay, let me cook. Let me think of something that he can...
Absolutely. If there is any AD carry who allows you to cook, it is Kalista. Play whatever you want, she will bail you out.
Yeah, I mean, we saw his Kalista Soraka, right, in the finals.
Oh my god, I can't believe that worked. I can't believe it not only worked, but it worked so well.
Yeah, it did.
Interesting choice here, though. It looks like prioritizing Odoamne with the blind pick Renekton, knowing that now Koi are essentially forced to respond with a top laner or have 2 options banned away, or they can match support here. But if Trymbi is really digging deep into the champion pool, they might not have to worry about locking in his pick early.
Yeah, it's a denial pick. I think Szygenda maybe wanted the Renekton on 3 himself, so Odoamne is saying, let's take it away from him. What's the answer for Szygenda? No stranger to carries. I thought we were going to get an action for a second, so I got stun locked. But they're going to go back to their Kalista Soraka. Won them a championship. Got them a triple knock-up around Dragon on Soraka with the Kalista ult. It was beautiful to see. We'll see how much it can do in this game. Will help out the side lanes a lot in the sense that you have a Soraka ult to work with when you're fighting up against champions like the Renekton.
And also incredibly obnoxious for a champion like Lucian who would love to dash in and out of fights. The second that silence field is down, that ability is one of the most disgusting abilities in the game. Instant AoE silence, ruining. If Renekton wants to leap into your backline, he's not going to do anything. Lucian wants to leap in, he's not going to do anything. It is such a difficult ability to play around. For now, the focus on taking away some of the jungle options. Xerxe, of course, played the Wukong yesterday and a significant amount in summer last year. So they have opted to take that away on the side of Koi.
They ban top laners here, XL. Do you ban away things like Gnar or Kennen or anything that can look for team fights? GP maybe is something they could look towards. I feel like Koi have a lot of zone control right now when it comes to the Maokai ult especially. We'll see what they opt into. Cassante, another champ that's just incredibly powerful in this patch. And with Ryze and Syndra being taken away, Azir feels quite strong. I think Larssen would love to pick up Azir on 4. When you're playing a short-range AD carry like Kalista, pairing it with something with a lot of range is always insurance tax and helps out in the team fights. But Koi right now focusing on the junglers. Could look to buy another. Vi is another jungler that's quite meta right now. Viego kind of works. Xerxe is no stranger to playing things like the Hecarim as well. But there's the Victor ban from Koi. Maybe they're setting up for the Azir.
Knowing that they're kind of going to have to be the ones to fight into the opposition with the Kalista, with the Maokai, so wanting to limit that scaling option. Oh, I wish. I wish a million times over, but that's not going to happen.
Flashbacks to Canyon. So Aatrox, yeah, carry top into the Renekton. Makes a lot of sense. We'll see how many more melee champs XL decide to go with, because Aatrox loves playing up against melee champs. And any kind of double AD jungle just to get an early Ninja Tabi along those lines. Happy days, and they'll count pick mid. No mages left.
Ooh, Diana.
Xerxe gonna...
Aggressive, lot of burst damage.
I'd be surprised against those champions more of a meta jungler feels easier to lock down the Kalista, and that's exactly what he will go for. The Soraka can peel by, you know, as the Vi ult comes in, the animation of the knock-up, you can put the silence on top of the Vi, so by the time she lands, she's rooted, right? So that could be a nice little thing that they can play around here, Koi. Now it's blind pick mid. For mages, not many left. I think Orianna could be something they could look towards. But they need to dive. Yeah, Ahri is the best. Something that can actually get into the backline. Excel have committed here to just full dive onto the Kalista.
This is going to be a difficult task. Burden of execution certainly feels like it's on the side of Excel. Soraka, as we get later and later, is such a difficult champion to deal with.
Oh.
What's the option here for
Galio
Larssen?
would be great for peel. The second the Vi ult goes onto the Kalista, just a Galio ult on top of it would be a nice knock-up. I'm not sure if Larssen is a big Galio player, though. I feel like he's more of a mage-leaning player.
Are they going to be low on damage if they go for Galio? Kassadin.
I don't know if I've seen Kalista Kassadin today already.
So mediocre. That's what I will say. I am ready to see Larssen's Kassadin. I am ready to be proven wrong. Again, I know how strong this champion could be, but we have not seen a good Kassadin game yet in the LEC.
I mean, last game, I can kind of understand why they went Kassadin. I would have loved Talia last game in the last draft with Heretics, but against Azir Sejuani, you see double AP mid jungle, you're getting sucked into it. This game, it's just Ahri. So we'll see what value this champion brings. I would love a lot more space control for the Kalista to work with, you know, Galio or something along those lines. But again, we're seeing a Kassadin hold on mid and scale a little bit while you're on the tower. I think this is not gonna impact bot as much. I think it's gonna impact top side actually. I think the Aatrox will struggle if Ahri Vi can move up towards that top lane.
When we look at these drafts, a lot of potential for early setup here. You look at the champions available, Ahri with the charm setup for the Vi as well. You got the Renekton on the top side with the stun. See what they can do with some of that early game power. Will be difficult in the bottom lane. You have to imagine Lucian on that first item is always going to be a powerhouse. How will they navigate the early laning phase, though, is the big question on my mind. Excel yesterday did not hit the ground running. They struggled in the early game. We never really got to see them play a mid game, to be completely honest with you. So this is an opportunity for them to start fresh. Coming into day 2, show us more of what they have in terms of individual laning prowess and not fall behind to any pre-planned or set plays from the opposition.
I think we're about ready to jump into game. The players are loading in. The fans are chanting. XL fans going for it. And we're ready. Game 4, XL versus Koi.
You're a paid actor. All right, well played, audience. We kind of are paid actors, though. I don't think they were talking about us in this case, but
No. Are we acting?
well, sometimes. Wow.
What the hell?
Synergy.
That was scripted.
Shout out to our stats guy who loves to do people dirty. Larssen, 7 career Kassadin games. He's 2-5 on the champion. He can break his own Kassadin curse and the LEC's Kassadin curse right here today.
Not a good look. But, yeah, like you said, we'll see if he can break that curse. First strike on the Ahri, taking the W first. It's very nice into melee matchups when you're playing a range mid to just take first strike and just get as much gold from them as possible.
Is Larssen's theme this year green skins? Because he played the green Rise yesterday. Does he think he blends in and it's harder to hit skill shots?
Like camo in a bush. Yeah.
If that's the reason I'm going to die, that's so funny.
Maybe it's just his favorite color. His favorite color is green.
That's also fair.
Him, though. I would love to ask him.
You would think it would be purple, but understandable.
Kassadin, TP, Koi, a lot of things line up for purple. Yeah.
So, all right, so far level 1 going way better for Excel than it did yesterday. Heimerdinger did not walk up and take 80% of their AD carry's health, so much more even status.
So also, Malrang no level 2 gank. He's done Raptors, and he's gone down towards his bot side, so he wants to play around top, I expect. Just clear out bot camps, get level 3, and then take red buff later on, because the idea of playing around top lane here is that he left his red buff intentionally, because then it lasts longer, right? You keep the red buff for longer, so you can skirmish heavier.
Odoamne, big trades here. Szygenda trying to extend the trade here, trying to land an extra stack of the Q just to get a little bit of something back.
Yeah, and this is what we saw yesterday, kind of in the XL game. Solo lane's doing great, pushing in, getting CS leads. Odoamne even getting that solo kill, but it's just the jungle bot that struggled. But now they're not up against the Heimerdinger. Patrik and Targamas will need level 3 before they can start impacting the lane incredibly hard. And now Xerxe, after those 3 camps, is moving in. Maybe looking at Malrang's red. Doesn't have any information just yet, but once he sees that it's up with this mid push with Kassadin being on the tower, it should be an easy pickup. Even Odoamne can join.
I like this invade. If they send a top set, they're getting spotted on this ward is rough. They're committing a lot of time here. But Malrang already roaming up, not even starting a camp quite yet.
I think they're a wave early. I think they could have pulled Vetheo after the next mid wave, and then they would have a threat into the dive. It would be such good setup, but now they've kind of wasted their window. Malrang's there to cover. Maybe they could have forced Larssen TP or something along those lines, but the play's dead. They didn't take any camps. Level 3 on comp. Patrik needs level 3. When he dashes forward, he could have done a lot more damage there, but they're going to look for it anyway. They don't know Malrang's here.
They're walking up. Maokai not a whole ton of damage here quite yet. Expect that we will still see the Demonic Embrace build. Bubble going wide is going to be big there. But Patrik now going forward. Comp is so incredibly low. Soraka now healing up. Comp, they're trying to cut him down, but Patrik's getting burned. Trymbi, the bananas! Oh, that is not what you want!
He's
so much potassium in this bot lane. Another heal coming out this lane. So obnoxious. Targamas running.
Trymbi,
They need
the
vision.
flash banana.
They need
the flash
vision.
banana.
Oh!
2v2 kill in the bot lane for Koi. Patrik dashing forward, so much healing on the side of Koi's bot lane. Xerxe off screen there, managing to force the red buff down. We'll see if Malrang wants to contest. He has vision of it. Yeah, Xerxe has to give this one up. You can see Szygenda's moving from topside after TPing back. Vetheo's around. They have so much pressure in mid, but they can't use it anywhere right now. And bot lane has fallen apart again for the second time this weekend for Excel.
It's so rough, because yesterday we saw both these guys play up against Heimerdinger lanes, but Patrik had it so much harder. And yes, he was playing against Mickey Hansama, but to get the same result again, tragic early start here.
Xerxe?
35-16 the CS. The action's not done yet, though.
I think he might die for this. Let's see. Oh, Malrang got it!
Malrang got the smite! Xerxe!
Oh, no.
Oh, here come the kitty cats! Run, Xerxe, run.
Here come the kitty cat.
I love that skin. That's my favorite skin in the game.
Run! Xerxe gets out. He doesn't get the red. He has to flash away.
Look at him go. It's the best skin. Oh, it makes little cat sounds. It's so cute. Best skin.
The only kind of cat that's cute in League. I hate Yuumi.
That's true.
Nice.
Much better cat.
So let's watch this again. Targamas bubbles the bush thinking they're recalling, but they run forwards knowing that they'll try to stop them, take the fight. Patrik gets a lot of damage, so he thinks, oh, I can maybe win this fight. Heal, silence, has to run out of the silence, and by the time he turns around, he has a lot of spears in him. His Q auto doesn't get the kill. Comp flashes out. The bananas are too strong. Patrik knows he's dead, so he just tries to do damage, seeing if Targamas can trade back. But then the heal from Trymbi comes in just in time from the W from Targamas, and then it's another one. Can we get a slow-mo of this one? Are we gonna get it?
I gotta say.
I think we are.
You
Ready for
never...
this?
A little bit of a visual bug there. There it is. Ooh, not even a banana. Just a piece of the moon.
Oh my god. Not even the full moon. It's a half moon. Vetheo?
Vetheo gonna be in trouble now. Larssen leaping in. Level 6. Charm goes wide.
Kitty cat.
We'll back away.
No, give him a friend.
I need you to do that every time that happens. Can you do that for me, Caedrel? I just need to meow. Every sap
I
pulling.
am not meowing for you. You just meowed for me.
If not for me, then for who, Mark?
You can meow for me. You already did it
Okay,
once.
all right, I got you.
You're gonna be the meower.
Another trade going down.
Oh.
Initially, Comp appears to be losing. Then the spears get pulled out, and Trymbi starts to heal him. And again, such a difficult... This is a massive... This is a 1,400 gold in the bot lane alone for Koi. This is devastation in the early game. Yes, Odoamne, 200 gold above his lane opponent, but it doesn't matter.
It's only going to get worse at this point. They have so much push, and Xerxe can't really impact bot side. There's so much vision that Koi have. They have the Scuttle Crab around Drake, 2 wards on bot side, permanent push, and they know Xerxe is trying to get top ahead, but Szygenda's not been dove. They've missed their windows. Malrang's been covering, and yeah, Koi will be very happy about this early game. We'll see them probably force a Drake soon with this much bot pressure when Malrang visits down here with these Swiftless boots. So quick around the map. Has the phase rush. Expecting some kind of AP Maokai build, but we've also seen things like the Jack Show. We'll see which direction it goes in.
Again, Malrang, so you never know what you're going to get.
I mean, we've seen Knight's Vow Electro V since. Ooh, Odo. Expected trade.
Not at the trades. Odo clearly very confident in this matchup. Obviously one we saw a decent amount of in years past. Aatrox fallen away a little bit in terms of overall popularity, but still a solid pick.
Ready?
Ready?
Sad.
My entire life is now waiting for this. Like the crowd waiting for heralds and pink wards. I'm just sitting here.
We should do this more often.
Just waiting.
So buffs have respawned. These are first buffs. Xerxe will get his. I don't know if Malrang will give blue buff. Is it worth to give blue buff to a Kassadin at 7 minutes? Well, Malrang seems to think it is. Larssen's on his way over to take it away.
He plays for the team.
He does. He is such a team player. Could get to level 6 faster. Could gank less and farm more, but
so slow clearing the jungle.
This is
agonizing to watch.
He's just got swiftness boots clearing his jungle. Poor Malrang. He knows he has to be everywhere. You know, he's got places to be, people to see. Mostly Szygenda this game. Did get Vetheo's ultimate though, but CS lead in top, not huge. 20 CS lead. I think Szygenda's very scared of picking up this wave. The amount of jungle pressure that's been up here.
If 20 is not a big CS lead, how big of a CS lead do you want?
Well, I think I meant it more in the context of like Renekton's up 400 gold, but Vi's been hovering the entire game. They haven't found a dive. They haven't gotten his flash. He hasn't really had much vision to work with either. He's just got one ward on his Krug, so he has to keep sacrificing. He's in a base. Koya going to go towards Drake after this crab, you have to imagine. And Herald just spawned. So interesting. Koya a bit late to Drake, which gives Excel a window to go to Herald. So it'll be an objective trade. Slightly Herald favored in the early game, because I'm not sure how many plates Comp will get. Patrick's basing. We'll keep our eye on it. I expect him to push and look for them unless he has a freeze.
Honestly, pretty solid map read and map play from the side of Excel. Playing towards the strong side of the map, Odoamne, of course, has a decent lead at this point and wanting to get away from that bottom side, so shifting their attention towards Herald. So overall, now bringing the Lucian up to the top side of the map and leaving Odoamne on the bottom to match, trying to get away from the lane where the Kalista is so far ahead. I like it.
Yeah, and I think Koya communicating that they have a stacking wave bot right now. Imagining maybe they can dive the Lucian, but once they see the Lucian top, I think they'll just push this, get this into tower, and then look to base and match. Try to match the Herald. This gives Excel maybe one wave to just fast push this in and try to take an entire tower. We'll see if Odoamne tries to come down here and defend this tower by clearing the entire wave. He will risk his life if he does. Koya are playing with information here. They're saying Malrang is bot. If you walk up, you're 3v1. Yep. Joke's on them. Malrang is top. So see if Excel get baited into a play here by Szygenda. See if they can defend this tower as two. Vetheo is actually hovering around now, so Koi's bot lane will have to be very careful.
Resources being allocated very rapidly.
Uh-oh.
Odoamne now stepping forward. Renekton still an absolutely terrifying threat. Instantly in goes Vetheo. Comp now trying to pull Trymbi back, trying to reset the fight. Spears are now going in, but will it be enough?
No
Odoamne
way.
trying to cut through him. The Fury now stacking. Cold to make not enough. Comp still standing. This has to be infuriating to play against.
They got out of that play. Excel, I think they had a guaranteed kill. We'll have to see the replay to see if they executed it properly. Comp does get over the wall with his Q. And no Herald plays top. It looked like Xerxe is base to come towards bot side. So Larssen will be able to crash midwaves, has a 300 gold lead of his own now after Vetheo looks for this roam, and Szygenda safe under tower.
That's such a frustrating situation for the side of Excel. You really want to get a kill into that Ahri, let her start to take over this game alongside a level 6-5, but the fact that they're not able to get anything while simultaneously Larssen is just free farming is devastating.
So Odoamne flashes in Qs here to get the empowered W and uses it on Comp. Now you might be like, well, Comp has cleanse, why does he do that? I think it's because they have the Soraka ult. Maybe they could have focused Trymbi a bit more in terms of damage and that would have helped them out. But I think they did as much as they could. I'm not sure if Vetheo could have gotten more damage out, and then with that chunk onto Odo, he has to back away. Tough one. I think, yeah, they probably should have focused Trymbi down a bit more despite the Kalista ult saving him from the stun. I think the damage was what was needed.
Very, very difficult. Vetheo flashing out to safety. Meow. Has to run out.
Wait, are you meowing if they hit or if they miss?
I don't know, man. I committed to something before I had fully planned it out in my head.
I like it, though. Let's keep that up. I like this. Biggest gold lead right now is on Comp. We'll see if XL can pull that back with this Herald. This is exactly what they did at level 3. We'll see if Patrik walks up. Silence. Doesn't get baited. Puts the ward down. He's safe. Malrang's on his way up. Out of vision. Larssen's on his way up as well. Small level lead for him because of the roam from Vetheo. Look at how far those E's can be thrown.
Dang it. I don't want to. Meow.
They can be thrown very far to
Why
get
did I
vision.
commit to this?
I love it. Well, there's one.
No. I don't want to. Meow. Look.
Wait, what do you do when he ults? Is it just like a meow storm or something?
I'm just going to shout about it. I love it every time it happens. It's the weirdest. It's just a bunch of
kittens just
like
rolling.
Long, weird-looking tube cats just coming at you. Horrifying, horrifying all. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's, but a cute kitty all.
Scared the hell out of me.
It is scary.
So,
it's a scary game.
Because the 2 kills went to Trymbi on Soraka, look at his items. Moonstone already. I think he had that a couple minutes ago. We saw it on the side there, 10 minutes roughly. From base after the 2v2 in bot side.
Look,
your meows are getting better. They have more of like an
more of a
twang.
yeah. Also, observers, shout out to you for insisting on probably showing us.
I think they're laughing backstage, just like Pepe laugh. He doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. There's the Herald. They haven't given it to Patrik. I think the reason is they can't get any top push. You can see on the minimap, Comp and Trymbi have them under their tower constantly, and if they ever step up, they will get punished. So just put it in the Kassadin lane.
Well, and I think that the the window of opportunity for Ahri to be relevant in this game feels smaller than for Lucian. If Lucian gets 3 items, he's going to be good. He can sit back and farm and wait, whereas the Ahri, I always feel like she's a champion who really needs to impact 1 or 2 items and try to push and snowball, and especially up against the Kassadin.
Yeah, definitely agree. Base is coming in though. Mythics being slowly picked up. There's the Gale Force for Patrik. Chainsword for Xerxe. We'll see what they can get done. 1 minute on the next dragon. I think they're going to have to take the fight. Their champions do spike on first items. You know, Ahri, Everfrost, Lucian, Gale Force. That's really where you want to start dashing forwards and punishing things like the Rod of Ages Kassadin, especially around dragons. Blade of the Rune King for Odoamne. He will start winning out on the 1v1. This is where we should see Excel slowly come to life. We'll see if they can make any plays.
Chempunk Chainsword as well coming in for Xerxe. Help mitigate some of the absurd amount of healing potential on Koi's side. I like it calling it out. Really do not want to let a Kalista team start stacking Drakes early. Already getting 1. 13.5 minutes in. As plates start to fall away, the Chemtech Drake will spawn.
Yeah, Koi are a bit weak right now. Despite the gold advantage, you see Szygenda doesn't have Eclipse. Malrang doesn't really have an item complete either. Rod of Ages doesn't really count at this point. So this is it. This is where Excel needs to start taking fights. They know it. They're going to move into this bot side river.
Hey. Oh, meow.
The double combo.
Meow.
The double combo. I like it.
I just have to work them in, just casually mid-sentence. Oh, 2 times in the top lane. Xerxe going to start this objective off. For now, it looks like they're happy to just funnel more gold to the back part of Larssen and not risk skirmishing here around the 1-item spikes. You called it out. Clearly, Koi have recognized it as well. This is kind of where Excel are strong based on the composition. Meow. 1 hit the Scuttlecraft.
I didn't even see that one.
Gotta be ready,
You're
bro.
keeping me on my toes.
Eyes like a, I was going to say hawk, a cat.
The cats have good eyes.
There's going to be maybe 3 people on the internet who think this is funny, and a lot of people who are very annoyed by the end of this cast.
Just pissed off. Sitting there like,
just please stop.
Stop singing.
This is a serious professional sport.
Maybe they have cats and the cats are looking at the screen every time we do it.
That's
just
true.
Like perplexed at what they just
Calling
heard. Just communicating to everyone's pets at home.
There you go.
Patrik still pushed on the tower constantly, Comp keeping him there. Herald spawning now. Koi have set up, which helps them if they want to force this. They'll get top tier 1 as well. Vetheo will want to catch that wave, but I think Excel should just take the fight still. I think they're stronger despite the gold deficit. We'll see if they look for Larssen here with a Vild, or if they're just here to show themselves. Malrang's pushing his way in. Larssen's half mana. Vetheo close to level 11. Definitely wants that level up for the next fight.
Yeah.
And they're going to base here, Koi. Not going to go for the force. Szygenda get engaged. Look at the damage from the Blade of the Rune King.
Blade of the Rune King is massive here.
Yeah.
Instantly getting the Conqueror procced as well, and able to walk out there for the Q3, or the first Q for the Dark Blade to come in.
Maybe dive him here, Odoamne, if he wants. The problem he has is Soraka ult. If there was no Soraka ult, he could go for this. Szygenda's scared in the 1v1. He knows Malrang's top, I think. They saw the 4-man top after the mid-wave was pushed in. And that means Odoamne will be the one to get the first tower in the game, winning out on this 1v1. Szygenda has recovered a little bit in creep score, but he's just paying a lot of respect to Excel, making sure he doesn't give over any kills.
Yeah. And right now, Renekton obviously terrifying. Level 11, 2 points in the ultimate. Can't burst you down so quickly if you take a bad trade and go down to 50 HP like Szygenda just did. Then the threat of the dive is always there. Will get easier now that he's finished the Eclipse. But looking across the board, very quiet game. And to me, Caedrel, and you can correct me if my situation, or read on the situation is wrong, I feel like this favors Koi. I'm just looking at Larssen sitting comfortably through this game, looking at Excel, yet to find a kill, yet to make these really big plays on the map, and this feels like a game much more where you can go, oh, 12 out of 16, timer's ticking.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because on the one end you have a Kalista and you're like, wow, Kalista is going to get the push, so she's going to start stacking up the dragons, it's going to be so strong. But then on the other side they have a Kassadin, and they have so much mid-jungle control Excel that they can choose which side to go towards. 1 apiece. I think the Cloud Soul is not that impactful on these champions. I think things like Vi and Ahri, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I think, are they on Herald here, Koi? Dash forwards from Excel, looking for something.
Damage. Patrik now silence, has to walk away, but Szygenda's still stepping forward.
Koi's stopped the Herald. A bit worried. Hasn't reset just yet. Larssen's keeping you on the leash. Excel moving in. I think they need to take a fight. This is it. This is where they're just so strong, but Patrik's low. They don't have any vision. Xerxe is too afraid to walk in and get silenced, so objective over to Koi. All they need to do now is defend this mid-tier 1, and they should be net positive in the objective department. We'll see if Koi forces.
Gonna be forced to pull down here. Malrang still has the ultimate up and available. Is gonna use it now. Here come the cats, and the silence connects us through. That's everything! Oh, they don't even need the sapling. XL now on the retreat. Larssen now stepping forward. The Kassadin is massive. Odoamne in the backside. just trying to make sure that his team can make it out to safety, but that was a disaster.
Yeah, and here comes the painful part, because I think they can run towards mid and pop the Herald if they want to. Get that mid tier 1 down. Excel have to resettle their zone so far away. Looks like Koi won't go for that play. Maybe they think that Excel can get there in time. Vetheo has TP. They don't really want to get sucked into a long play and get engaged on again. They'll take the small wins. They're scaling. They're in a good spot, but now Excel looking for a play of their own. Koi have thought that they base, but they've stuck around. Xerxe is waiting for the Q to come back up. It's up now. He could charge it when Larssen ults right now. They'll go.
Excellent opportunity. Can they capitalize on it? Can they take Larssen out? Larssen trying to leap out to safety. More than enough damage to burn him down. The TP now coming in. They just barely managed to finish him. And now Szygenda caught in the middle of multiple members, but he's going to take down Xerxe. No, Xerxe flashing out to safety. Odoamne now looking to pick up 2. That is huge for the Crocodile on the top side.
It's Odoamne who's keeping Excel in this game on the gold. 1.8k ahead of Szygenda. Kills Larssen despite him flashing away. Kills Szygenda as he TPs in. Mid tower falls. Patrik picks that one up as Koi tried to defend their bot side. The first play we've seen from Excel in the last 18 minutes has worked. Double kill for the Renekton, building towards that Prowler's Claw.
That is massive. Downside is, of course, Larssen dies and immediately picks up the Archangel Staff. 324 out of 360 stacks necessary to evolve it. And I like to play overall. This is what we talked about. This is the strength of the Vi into picks like Kassadin or Kalista, is that you do have this guaranteed lockdown.
Yeah, and that's it. The ult forwards, that is the go button because he doesn't have ult. And then chain CC with the stun on the buffer, and then on his next dash, Odoamne will flash auto attack before he can get it off. TP comes in from Szygenda, can't get the kill on the Xerxe. Q3 won't land because he'll flash away. And then Odoamne will pick up that kill. Szygenda's got no chance, no way out. So much damage from the Renekton. So now let's see how Excel use that. Look at the items on Odoamne. Just picked up the Prowlers. Dragons in 1 second's time. Malrang's looking to take away this blue. Needs to be careful though.
Going in, lost sight. Charm now coming in. He's a very squishy tree. The cats are now coming out, trying to smite the objective away. And now on the retreat, leaping out to safety with the calling. Oh, it's just tickling his backside. Won't quite finish the job. Vetheo now stepping in. Down goes the tree. The deforestation efforts of Excel going well.
30 seconds on Baron. They can't force it, but the Dragon is up if they want to move towards the bot side of the map. Odoamne has TP, so he can join them. Top tier 1 is up as well. A lot of objectives here for Excel. Koi.
Larssen over the wall, though, is big. Patrick's going to be in trouble here. Larssen taking his time, though. This is what's so frustrating about Kassadin. He can just wait for you to try and dash away before he has to leap in.
And Odoamne will get that top tower. Larssen's on his way up. Szygenda doesn't have TP. Dragon's up. This is 2 objectives for Excel off the back of that kill. Bit greedy by Malrang there, looking to take away the blue buff. Didn't have any vision. And I think he wanted to get out of there. Had to use the W to avoid damage, but there's so much CC. The Charm, the Vi Q, the Everfrost, then the Vi ult. If they layer it properly, there's no way that Koi can get out if they single out a target.
Yeah, the pick potential is incredible. Xerxe now going to grab that second Drake again. Cloud Soul, not massive. It does help. And really, it is a story of the massive bot difference where Comp and Trymbi were able to pull so far ahead against Odoamne, who was pulling slightly ahead, more and more, until it really exploded with that double kill. Now it's 3-3 the kill score, 300 gold difference, but it's 3 towers to 1 in favor of Excel, really bringing this game back in the mid game.
So they look for now. Topside vision is where both teams will look. Larssen level 13, very close to level 14. Rod of Ages 3 stacks away to give him that extra level up as well. So a couple minutes time, he's going to be level 16. Just needs to catch these waves, keep continuing catching these waves. But the game has slowed down a bit ever since Koi got that double kill bot. They were really, really strong, were able to cross map nicely, trade heralds for dragons. But how much can this herald get done? Will Excel let this crash? Xerxe is around. Koi don't have information on either of the solo lanes. They're in base, but they could be around either side of the river, so they're not gonna be confident enough to step up and push this herald into the tower. Won't get them anything, and they just want to buy time here. Larssen keep catching waves. Szygenda get towards his second item, Death Stance, whatever it may be, and slow the game down a bit because this Renekton is a bit out of control.
Certainly the case. Even more so now that he's managed to pick up the Prowler's Claw as well as a stopwatch. Going to be a very hard character to just burst out. Especially when you look at this composition, it's mostly sustained damage. Until we get very, very late game, Kassadin not just going to be able to one-shot that health bar. And you can see total gold, Odoamne and Comp neck and neck, less than 100 between them, or around 100 between them. Everyone else trailing pretty far behind.
Definitely are. And now it's just playing over windows. When you have push in one lane, can transition that push to another, and I think it's going to be mid to top here for Excel, of course, because of the Baron. Koi just on defense duty. Excel going to slowly start to push their way in here. Need to be careful though. Not a lot of instant lockdown CC other than the Maokai, so if they see Malrang on midwave or anything like that, they can feel a lot more confident, but hiding in the bush, throwing out the cats, checking to see if Excel want to step up.
Nope. All right.
It's just going to sit there.
Respectable. And the thing I do like about Excel's composition is while it will be maybe more difficult to execute as we get later into the game, all that single target CC in the mid game, especially now that tier 1s are falling, makes it so easy to pick off Koi if they ever misstep. We saw it with Malrang in the jungle. If anyone else is out of position and tries to contest vision without someone backing them up, very easy for this to fall apart. Meow. Rude. Baron did not do anything there.
Rude. Wait, they're going to start Baron. Hang on a second. They know all of Koi's around. They just saw the Malrang throw a sapling over. Are they trying to force Szygenda's TP? Vetheo's not TPing. Their sustain is not that good.
I'm not.
Okay, so, I mean, they get chunked out by the Baron a bit. Maybe they were just trying to make Koi sweat. I mean, they had nothing to play around, so a bit confusing, but still nothing lost in the play.
All I will say is that we have seen a decent number of teams, seemingly for no reason, start Baron over the last 2 days.
I've got a theory on that. So nothing happens for 5 or 6 minutes in the game, and then one team's just like,
Yeah.
dude, should we just like start Baron? The game's getting kind of boring.
That's the most ADHD thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Just try and like force a TP, do something. This game's too boring, and then that just happens. I'm convinced this is exactly what happens. They have no setup right now, Excel. You can see that ward on the blast cone. They need to push past that line. They need
silence.
to get into the
Locking
red
him
buff.
in with the pit. Meow. Missed one. Sorry.
I'll forgive you for that one. I'll allow it. Larssen did get the Rod of Ages 10 stacks though. He's level 15 and a half. Look at Vetheo. He's just dinged over to 14. So this is going to be really painful for Excel. Their window is slowly closing. It's been great for the last 8 to 9 minutes.
Yep.
They've had push on side waves. They've been able to control objectives. They've been incredibly strong. The mid game is slowly falling away, and we're going into the late game now, towards the 30-minute mark, which is where Koi will be their strongest. But it's slowly going into their favor despite this gold deficit. Level 16 Castle will be really dangerous on side lane. Odoamne should win against them in the 1v1 easily, but it's more around those team fights and navigating them.
In the case, Patrik is continuing to leap forward just to test limits, see how much damage he can get down before Trymbi heals comp right back up. But it is a good call out. Does feel like Excel's clear window of opportunity at least is starting to close. Of course, with enough CC, they can always look to just one-shot some of the opposition, but with Kassadin at 2 items that make him very tanky on top of a stopwatch, not really a viable target to burst out. Comp similarly has a stopwatch of his own, so the amount of priority targets that can be picked off in the midst of a fight are going to be much, much harder to find this time around. That said, you highlighted it already, Odoamne is still a very beefy boy. 2.4k individual gold lead, 2.5 items working towards that GA.
I wonder if Koi will take this fight. Larssen is so close to that level up, and I don't think this level up is just going to decide the game, right? It's not like Excel all of a sudden become useless or anything like that. The Kassadin doesn't get infinite amounts of damage. It's just the mobility and lockdown is just becoming difficult. You have to invest vitality on the Kassadin no matter what, you have to imagine, rather than maybe use it on Aatrox to peel. I think that should be a guaranteed dragon. Larssen has the TP up, but look at the Baron pit. You see question mark pings. It looks like they're just trying to get vision. Excel smartly going to get this bot tier 2. Do they just start it here? They see 2 people bot. They know the Vi is on dragon, and they have good secure. Xerxe hesitant now, wondering if going towards this bot side was a mistake. Here comes the Baron force. Odo hasn't used his yet. It's just Vetheo first. They're testing the waters. They're going to commit.
Patrik now stepping up. Ulti now being used by the Maokai. Cat's coming out, not too much effect. Tidal wave coming over the wall. It's going to lock up Larssen. Larssen going golden. Odoamne ready to instantly stun him down if possible, but he's leaping out to safety. Odoamne dashing backwards. Bit of a fumble there. Now getting locked up. Odoamne isn't able to use any of his gold. Koi playing beautifully around this, denying him any opportunity to get into the back line. Shutting him down. What a beautiful dissection of the Fed top laner from the side of Koi. Larssen now charging forward, blood in the water. They see their opportunity. Not strong enough from Patrik to stop the coming tides. Vetheo still running. Szygenda stepping forward to knock him down. It is a clean ace. Only Malrang and Trymbi falling in exchange.
Can they 2-man the Baron? I think they might be able to pull it off. It's actually 3-man. They don't even need to use any TPs. They don't have any, so they will be able to pick this one up really easily. That was a huge team fight for Koi. I think Odoamne made a massive mistake in it. It looked like he walked forwards, wanted to use the stun onto Larssen. Larssen dashed away, but then he flash E'd in the wrong direction. He went towards the left side instead of the right side. And then stopwatches were popped. I mean, let's just keep our eyes on Odoamne because there was just so many things that stopped him from getting into this fight. TP's in from Vetheo, TP in from Odoamne. Koi stuck at the back of the pit. It's either dash out here or commit, and they decide to commit. Larssen stopwatch. Odoamne wants to stun him. He dashed away. Then Odoamne is in the chains, gets pulled back, flashes E's to the left, and then he gets knocked up. and then he gets rooted and silenced, knocked back away. Then he looks for the stun with the Prowler's Claw into Comp, and as he does that, Comp stopwatches. Then he stopwatches himself, thinking he'll wait for Comp to come out of his, and then Comp flashes away. Finally can land the stun onto Malrang, and he's dead. So it turns into a 4v4. Your Fed Renekton's gone, and Koi can just run you down.
Malrang on the flank here again. There's another fight breaks out. Looking for the third Drake. Malrang could just get bursted down here. There's no room for him to play into this pit. They delete the jungle before the fight even starts. Maybe they can win the 5v5. Keep your eyes on Larssen. That's going to be big. Trymbi solo health in the back line. No. He can't keep anybody standing. Odoamne buying as much space as humanly possible. The GA now coming out. A few moments till he comes back up. Surely he should fall. Dashing out to safety, but no. Denied his escape. And again, Koi will take the exchange and take the Drake to follow.
They can kill Vetheo as well. Look at Larssen go.
Larssen.
So many dashes.
Here we go, baby. Level 16. Larssen on a rampage.
They have a small wave in bot. They'll be able to take this bot tier 2. Look, tier 1. Look for the tier 2 as well. Xerxe trying to take mid tier 2. See if he can find an answer. Larssen basing. Gonna try to stop him. They haven't even gone for the Drake. They just want to push and get as much gold as possible.
Such a difficult exchange. Yes, they can cut down Malrang, but they just cannot finish any of the other carries.
Their damage just falls off so quickly when Odoamne dies. Patrik struggling to get involved in the fight. Vetheo can work in small bursts, but he has a Banshee's Veil second item, Lucidity Boots. There's no real damage on this Ahri until the Rabadons comes in. Looked good initially. Malrang went in. Odo managed to get his combo off. We'll take a look at it again. So Malrang split. Larssen's joining the rest of the team. He goes in, but this is the stun here from Odoamne. Look at the damage that he can dish out. Patrik can get the combo off. Looks great. They use a lot of ultimates here. Koi tries to keep him alive. How does Patrik die then? Because it looks like the root comes in. Patrik's using the culling onto Trymbi. It's just Szygenda that just solo kills Patrik. There goes the damage. Odoamne can't take down Comp with the Prowler's Claw. Trymbi too much healing. And then once Patrik's down, they just have to run.
Yeah. Sapling's pretty late in that bush as well. Quite annoying. And I'd have to say they're out of time. Mark. Malrang just running in the jungle pretty fearlessly. You can see the damage in the last team fight. Odo versus the double carry threat of the rest of the team. Mount.
What is he?
What's he
He's
doing?
meowing at them.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That is absolute confidence from Malrang. Forces the ult out from Odoamne. Yes, it's a low cooldown, but that will matter next few moments. Koi, so incredibly powerful now with 4K gold lead to back it up as well. 4,000 Baron power play.
Yeah, 5-man top from Koi. No tier 2 bot, no waves pushing in, no one going towards Dragon. They're just 5-manning top, see if they can siege this down. They don't have any range though. They only really have Comp and Trymbi to hit the tower, so they need to use spells to push them away. Let Comp step up, get the wave down. I don't think they can get this. They need to be really careful unless they commit to some kind of full dive. There's no real objective here, but their Baron was fading. They only had a couple waves left to play on, so they thought maybe they would just try something top. It didn't work, and they can just move towards mid and Dragon now. They control the rest of the map. Rabadon's picked up for Vetheo. We'll see if he can dish out a little bit more damage in these fights.
And Caedrel, I think it is safe to... Oh. Yeah.
Carry on.
Thank you. Did you really stop me so I can...
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I think it is safe to say that the window of opportunity for Excel to really capitalize on their advantages has closed. Meow. It's really hard to make a serious point.
I wonder if the crowd's going to get involved in this one game.
At this point, they are looking for Fog of War picks, big flanks, but that's about it, because Trymbi's now just building armor. Because he knows the only way they really lose a fight is if he gets one-shot by someone, and the only person who's very likely to one-shot him at this stage of the game is Odoamne.
No.
Vetheo not able to contest there. I think I might have missed a meow. Sorry.
I got you covered. I dropped it.
Oh, you dropped it.
Yeah. See, I always got your back no matter what. Even in a
I appreciate that.
In a Meowcode situation, I'm there for you. Szygenda's going to push in bot 4 items for Comp. Level 18 Kassadin getting towards Rabadon's death cap. Guardian Angel is something that Excel need to wait for. They need to wait for Odoamne's Guardian Angel. I think that's their only really window of opportunity. Just flash Prowler's Claw in, one-shot Comp somehow with Vetheo and Xerxe behind you.
Yeah, but the somehow, you're just saying an imaginary thing in the middle. You're like, flash in, do something that doesn't
like
maybe exist in League of Legends.
It's like when you're playing like a wombo combo. It's like, let's just like use our spells and just hit all 5 of them.
Yeah. I mean, if he hits them all with the big Q, stuns one person, and then they all stand in his AoE, he can probably kill the entire team. But maybe, I mean, Trymbi mispositioning, I think is probably the biggest thing that could go wrong before a big 5v5. Trymbi mispositioning 2 times consecutively in a very short period of time.
Now we found the solution.
Okay.
Let's see if he does.
You can see we're grasping at straws here, and that just means that if Excel do manage to find a way to come back in this game, it is all that much more impressive.
I saw the Fnatic Vitality game yesterday, so I won't count them out just yet. We'll see what Koi can get done. The game's slowed down because there's no objective. Both teams have 2 dragons. There's no soul point to be played for. Dragon's 3 minutes away, but Nash is spawning in 30 seconds. I think Koi will try to start that up. Sorry. They have Maokai to tank it. They have Soraka for the sustain. It should be pretty easy to secure with the Kalista. Excel will have to walk into all of these Maokai saplings. Here comes the push. Try to push them back. Larssen has infinite mana to work with that blue buff.
This is so frustrating.
And even if he takes 20% of your health bar for 40% of his, he can just dash away and get healed by Soraka, right? So no problemo.
Unless he gets hit by flawless chain CC overextending on an ulti, there's pretty much no way Larssen dies. Of course, Vile is an option, but there's so many relevant threats now that it's difficult for Xerxe to know where to go. Maybe a Miracle Steal. The silence, nice to stop him entering the pit. Patrik over the wall. Larssen just trying to dash in. Again, going bold. There's the chance they steal it! The steal is massive! The rest of the team now going into buy, still standing. Ahri has been taken down, but XL have bought themselves a bit of time. Xerxe now running, but at least 3 members will still be standing with the Baron. They pay with the lives of Xerxe and Vetheo to secure the purple worm.
That is worth it every single day of the week. 2 people for a Baron, no waves to play on for Koi. Maybe you can see them desperately trying to push top as quick as they can with Szygenda. Maybe they can look for a tower TP in with Larssen while there's death timers, but that's about all they will get. Vetheo is the one to pick it up, and Koi actually just basing, not going for any objective. They can work with this Baron here, XL. That should help them for setup for the next Dragon spawn. Try to control the map, get some wards down. So how did Vetheo get it? They have Kalista and there's 2 smites in the pit. The Ahri is the one to secure it.
Where does the pull happen? They're pulling, and they should pull and smite at the same time. The knockup comes in.
Frames per second there. It's gonna have to go through all the numbers and all the math, but regardless, Vetheo gets it. He gets rooted. There's no way out. Xerxe flashes over the wall. Larssen's playing Kassadin. He dashed over. There's no way out for him. But the rest of XL escape with their lives, and Koi get nothing off the back of it in terms of objective. Patrik building towards what I expect to be an Infinity Edge. I think when he picks that item up, he will be doing a lot more damage. Rabadon's Infinity Edge, these are the items that these champions like Ahri and Lucian need to bridge themselves to the late game. But Larssen will have one of his own soon, and that's a full build Kalista now with a Guardian Angel.
Ooh. And miraculous, really, to keep XL in the game. Credit to Vetheo for being able to find that steal. But, I mean, that just should never happen. It's crazy. That's going to be one that I think we have to look back again on at a certain point, because with a Kalista, with a Maokai with Primal Smite in the pit, you should not be losing objectives to Ahri, but again...
Yeah, if you just combine the damage, right, both smites, what is it, 1200, 2.4k?
1200 plus however much damage Kalista can do with a Rage Blade, stacking up those spears, which is a lot. Well, that said, they made it work, and now we have to see what XL do with it. This is their new lease on life. 3k difference, the only thing that separates the team. Odoamne still the very strong point on the map, and you can already see Koi looking to collapse, but maybe, just maybe, they'll get caught in the rotation. Okay. Trymbi.
They're looking for it.
Taking a lot of damage here already. The ulti now coming out. They're trying to disengage. The wave coming in as well, but Vi is now stepping forward. Trymbi has now been locked up. It's a big, big bubble. Vetheo leaving the rest of the team. Comp, will he get taken down? He goes golden. They buy 3 more time. This is a massive fight for Excel. They've got the momentum. They're taking down one. Odoamne's spent so much time.
This is it.
Top lane and mid still stand for Koi. Maybe, just maybe, they can turn this back, but Vetheo is hunting for blood. A massive charm onto the Maokai. Malrang fighting for his life, but he will drop in the end. Excel have found the pick that they need, and they still want more. It's clean from Vetheo. The charge in. Can they time it flawlessly? They will. They get it. Larssen knocked down. It should not be possible, but they are making it work. They refuse to stop. Will they have enough damage? Yes. The ace. It is everything for Excel.
It's a miracle granted to them in that team fight. Koi were the ones who wanted to take it. Vetheo TP's in. Let's look at it again straight away. So Trymbi and Comp split off from Szygenda Larssen. 2 fights will happen here. One on the bot side between the bot and jungles. One on the top side where Odoamne is against both the solo laners of Koi. GAs go down at around the same time, and he's buying as much time as possible. He will eventually fall, but by the time Odoamne dies, you see Larssen flashing on top of him. The kills for XL start reeling in. They get 2, and then this charm from Vetheo, which is beautiful. Dashes over the wall, pops a W for move speed, gets past the red buff, lands onto Malrang, and then it's just the chain of kills. Larssen has no mana. He just uses ult to clear the wave. Has so many stacks that he can't use anymore. Charm Flash is good. Stopwatch buys a little bit of time, but the full dive commit comes in. Yes, Szygenda gets 1 on the back of it, killing Patrik, but I think we might have to go back to live. We'll see if they take this fight again here, Koi.
And they keep it going. Comp down running to the pit as well. Should just be able to take this one down, but no, the smite steal. Give it back in return. Now Odoamne will fall. Double TP's coming in. Koi, see this is an opportunity to end the game. Here comes Larssen. The bubble will not connect. They need to retreat as a 4-man unit. If anyone else drops, surely the game will end in favor of Koi.
It will. 50 seconds on Odo. A glimmer of hope for Excel, slowly starting to fade. The Baron's off. They didn't get the Dragon either, so all of these kills have given them basically gold, and at this point, gold is not that important. Patrik.
Big damage onto Larssen, holding over the wall, trying to finish off Trymbi. Larssen going right back in, wants to finish the job, but the healing coming in is just too much. Maokai now locking down Patrik. Cleanse now bringing him out. Malrang backing away, goes golden for a brief moment. The charm connects, but XL do not have the damage to finish the fight. The healing coming in from the Soraka so consistently. 300 health after 300 health, backing up the front line of Koi.
Trymbi clutched that fight. The silence on the culling stopped him from falling. The Kalista ult wasn't up yet. He would have died if he didn't land that. No summoners either. And then Larssen is the one that gets engaged on. Still has the Zhonya, so he was fine from the get-go. Just he got chain CC'd, so he couldn't use it on the Vi ult. So much healing coming out, like you said. A lot of healing reduction slowly being built up here by XL. They need the Putrefier here. I think Targamas needs to get that as quick as possible. Pings on top wave. Maybe they want to play for top tier 2. Baron's up again in a minute's time. And I think we're going to have another fight on our hands. Gold is basically becoming irrelevant. It's just about setup, landing your skills, and landing the right targets. Guardian Angel for Szygenda will buy a lot of time.
It's all execution. Stopwatch now for Vetheo. He can play very aggressive with that option, but always have to be careful about stopwatching in the wrong position. The silence will come down, can shut down so much of that defensive utility. But this very well could be the final fight for either side. A complete ace for either Koi or Excel should just end the game.
And I think Patrick's actually just ahead of Comp now. He's full builds with a more 80% crit, and Comp had to sell the Guardian Angel to buy a QSS because he doesn't have Cleanse up for the next fight. 20 seconds on Baron, he won't have Cleanse in time. I have to sell this and buy QSS. If I get hit by a Charm, the game's over. So smart purchase, just loses out on raw stats, and because he does that, Patrick's ahead now. He'll do so much damage with the Nami next to him.
And Lucian, the burst and the sustained damage, incredible. Kalista needs so much more time to get that damage down. Patrik now trying to back off. Mikhail's is available for Targamas. The extra cleanse, courtesy of the support. As long as he can stay standing, McCoy still feeling confident. Barrel into mid lane, push that wave in, set their sights now on the Baron. Odoamne knows he has to TP.
Yeah, he has to come in early. He knows he can't arrive too late.
Powering on the flank, he's not even in the pit, but they shouldn't need him. Comp can just take this objective away. Ult is big. Patrik now backing off. The team is there to body block. Odoamne there to body block to make sure that they have an avenue. Vetheo off onto the flank. Xerxe now going into the midst of the team. Big damage over the wall, but will it be enough? Xerxe now getting cut down. Odoamne desperately trying to find a kill, but Koi peeling back beautifully. Trymbi down means the healing is gone. Odoamne trying to get something back. The burst is big. It's Patrik versus the world, but Patrik will be knocked down. Szygenda reset after reset. Koi taking the exchange.
And that's gonna be game. Koi can push in mid now and end it. The flank from Malrang. The ult was good, but I think Xerxe just hesitated a bit too much. He went way too deep, ulting onto Comp. There was no follow-up. Odoamne's flash was 10 seconds away. His Guardian Angel was 10 seconds away. I think Excel just needed to stall that out a little bit more. Have some patience. Vetheo will try his best here, but he's going to get pulled back, I think. No. Larssen.
Chains. Double snare is going to be big. Larssen making out with the QSS, but Vetheo, he should just have nowhere to go. Shut down. One more kill to close it out. An absolute slugfest back and forth. A valiant effort from Excel to bring themselves back into the game after a rocky mid-game. A miracle steal and a couple of miracle fights, but not nearly enough to stop the onslaught that is Koi. One final fight will seal the deal as Koi find their second win in the winter season.
It was a tough one, but they managed to pull it off. There was points in that game where XL had full control, but then Koi swung back because of the scaling, and then the team fights were just such a mess. They lost the Baron, but they came back to take away the Dragon, got themselves on soul point, but that Baron fight was so intense. If Odoamne had Flash or GA, if he could just gap close onto that Kalista, they would have picked up the first kill. But he just couldn't close the distance that the Vi dashed in, and Vetheo had to dash away because they turned onto him. Good game overall, though. Signs of hope for XL, and Koi looking strong.
Definitely the case. Making good again, 4 out of 5. The championship roster had to face a former brother today, but ultimately Koi coming out on top, and I think well earned. You know, we saw it in the early game. It was really about the top gap versus the bot gap. Odoamne finding those big leads, while on the opposite side, Comp and Trymbi building big leads of their own. Such a nightmare to be locked down in Excel. Even though they were able to find and mount that comeback, it would needed flawless execution throughout the entire late game if Excel were going to find that win.
Yeah.
Trymbi breathes a big sigh of relief as he walks by, shaking his head a little bit, knowing maybe it wasn't quite as clean as it could have been, but ultimately...
Yeah, it's one of those games where, you know, you have the bot lane situation, you 2v2 kill them, the Soraka has 2 kills, you're proxying, you think the game's as good as done, but then fast forward 30 minutes, it's a 40-minute game and it's a slugfest around Baron. So looking strong, but still a lot of things to clean up. That mid game was quite tough, and we'll see what they can produce tomorrow.
We will. 3 days, 9 best of ones, 2 played so far for Koi, 2-0. Definitely a good start. Player of the game at LEC on Twitter, Larssen, Comp, or Trymbi. Let us know who you think deserves it.
The scaler or the bot? The bot domination.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
There's only one guy who's really won on the Kassadin.
The Ginger God.
The Ginger God.
Self-proclaimed Ginger God.
Is he self? I thought someone else proclaimed that for him, or did he proclaim that?
No, he proclaimed that on Euphoria. He said he wants to be called the Ginger God.
Yes, the Ginger God.
But the gods play Kassadin? Sometimes.
Certainly don't play Yuumi.
No.
That much we know.
Only Maokai.
Magnificent cast from us, if I do say so myself. But time to hear from the man who won the game in fashion, none other than Larssen.
Thank you, Drakos and Larssen. Thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on taking down Excel today. How personal was this one, considering the top laner you were facing off against?
I actually didn't hear anything.
I was asking how important was this one for you, considering you were facing Odo on the other side?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Odo a lot, but you still really want to beat him. I thought he was gonna. I hope he was gonna run it down a bit, but he actually like smurfed. He almost like 1v90 game in bot lane when he killed me and my top laner. So he played very well, but it's a big win there. It's the like, biggest game of the split when you're playing against Odo, I think.
I can imagine, especially when you play against a former teammate. Really strong start for Koi so far, and I want to say that I'm surprised, given the fact that you said in an interview that you started scrims rather late, which is something that Trymbi told me also yesterday. Tell me about starting a bit late, maybe. How did this happen, and were you expecting this result so far?
No, I didn't really expect to be 2-0. I mean, it's just two best of ones, like anything can happen, but the scrims were not too great. But at the same time, when we won in Malmö, the scrims were like absolutely terrible. So maybe it's just our way, like feeding scrims when on stage.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll win a bit more in scrims soon. But wait, what was the question again? I forgot.
You answered it rather well, so yeah, we can move on to the next one. Channeling the Malmö experience, I want to say, starting the scrims late, given the changes of the format, how much do you think it impacted you? Because you have 1 day less per week to train.
I don't think it really matters. I think like starting late was very important for us because last year was like such a long year. I mean, we went to quarterfinals and Worlds, so it was like a very long year and very tough mental year. Like it was a very hard year. So definitely need a break. I'm still taking it like very slowly. I'm not playing too much yet. I'm just like easing it in, and yeah, I'm taking it very slow to the start. I know that now is not the time to peak.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Slowly and slowly. Things didn't change so much from Rogue to Koi when it comes to the coaching staff and the environment you have. So how is this experience different for you?
Yeah, it's very similar, but also different because the fans there are so many Spanish fans, and maybe need to like tweet in Spanish or say some Spanish words, maybe like learning some Spanish. So that's like the biggest difference. Otherwise, it's kind of similar, but it's really cool to have like Ibai like streaming our games. It's like really insane, and watching his stream is so fucking fun. So,
amazing. Lots of support from the Spanish community. We're gonna have match of the week next, Fnatic versus G2. Who do you think takes it, and how strong G2 looks right now?
Yeah, I'm not sure about Fnatic yet. I mean, they played pretty well yesterday, but I'm not sure about their lineup yet. I will have to see a lot more from them, because it's a big change to change the bot lane from like a hard carry bot lane to a kind of weak side bot lane. So I think they have a lot of work to do to fit in. I think G2 is like really strong. I mean, Hans played like 1,000 games in off-season in like Korea. So, I mean, they should stomp them because they're like off-season nerds, kind of. So.
And former teammate Hans also. Larssen, thank you so much for the interview. Congrats on taking down Excel today. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for match of the week right after the break. G2 versus Fnatic. Stay tuned.
Became champions, now we're right back at the start. You made me break blue walls of pain while you laid waste to all I gave. I kept the faith, your sins so brave, and now I'll never be the same. It's the same old story. it's the same old story. Can we regain our glory? Heartbreaker, you traitor, you put me in chains or set me free. I remember all the pain, it's true. I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you. Heartbreaker, my savior, I believe in all that we could be. Even if we know it's not forever, we're better together, we're better together. I was so upset, I was so alone, I can't forget.